And we know that CBI has been, let's say, to some extent facing problem regarding, let's say, if you remember 4 or 5 years ago, regarding the appointment of its head director, there was, let's say, competing claims. Then after that, in some of the cases, the investigation by the CBI was very, let's say, criticized. And there is overlapping jurisdiction, the problem related to whether the investigation should be done by ED or CBI, or we can say that the state police. So this has been the major problem. And that's why CJI is saying that there should be one umbrella body. Okay, so that is regulator of the regulators, or like here in this particular case, law enforcement agencies are there, like serious fraud investigation agency is there, office is there, or let's say this CBI is there, or police institutions are there for the states. So there should be one overarching body, and that body should have some kind of independence in deciding whether a particular case is to be investigated by police or ED or CBI, and then the appointment of that body, head of that body, can be done in a let's say independent manner, in objective manner. All these things are suggested by CJI. Okay, so why he is suggesting that? Because at present the kind of political interference in the appointment of and working of CBI or other investigating body, and because of that there is criticism. Okay, that's why he is saying that there should be some kind of independence here. Okay, so we will try to find out what CJI is saying. It is relevant to our GS2 paper and also those having public administration optional subject. Okay, coming to the editorial page. See, BIMSTEC after the Colombo summit. Again, you can see up till now we have discussed many articles in last 1 week regarding BIMSTEC. Okay, yesterday itself there was editorial outcome of BIMSTEC. So same things are being discussed. So you can refer to last 1 week's lectures. So we have discussed many articles there. On left hand side, quota and data. So yesterday's decision of Supreme Court regarding 1 year reservation, community reservation that has been given within the, let's say, most backward communities, that was squashed by Supreme Court. The context is that one, the analysis is given from polity perspective. Okay, polity and social justice. So we will discuss that. Fine. So in Sri Lanka, an economic crisis foretold. So we have discussed this, but it will be advisable for you to read this complete article to give the picture on the ground what is happening. हमने क्या किया है, ऊपर की चीज़ें डिस्कस की है, and the let's say recent visit of our economic affairs minister, the help that we extended to Sri Lanka, all these aspects we discussed. But what is happening on the ground in Sri Lanka? So in detail that will be covered here in the Saturday cover story, Ground Zero. Okay, you can read that if you have time. But yes, on page number 8, important news on bottom side, Center introduces Antarctica Bill. Okay, so what is that Antarctica Bill? And our, yes, Antarctica research programs. Okay, so under which ministry, under which institute this program is being implemented, which are our research stations in Antarctica. So that is relevant to our prelims examination also. Okay, now coming to page number 10, drug trafficking via freight containers a major challenge. GS3 paper, mains examination, internal security part. Drug trafficking is part of organized crime. It is part of our syllabus. And the drug trafficking that is happening through container shipments, this has been the major challenge. So we should write this in our answer, and some of the examples have been mentioned here. The recent one of the ship coming from Colombo to India. So that was intercepted by Colombo law enforcement agency itself, and it was carrying some heroin or cocaine, large amount of that. Then earlier we have seen last year in Gujarat port, so around 3,000 that cocaine, 3,000 kg cocaine was found, and let's say that was, let's say the ship came from Iran, right? So all these examples you should know, and how in recent times this kind of route used by drug traffickers is becoming the major challenge. Okay. On bottom side again, record nesting of olive Ridley turtles. It will be kind of revision. Last week itself we have discussed this. Okay, so Aribada, the mass nesting festival we can say, or mass nesting phenomenon that is going on of olive Ridley turtles on the coast of Odisha. Rushikulya, one of the largest rookery in the world, and other is, we can say that important coastal area, Gahirmatha beach. Okay, Gahirmatha and Rushikulya. On page number 11, Solomon Islands won't host China military base. Okay, on bottom side. So location of Solomon Islands, some basic information from geography mapping perspective. All right, so these are the important articles. Let's discuss them one by one in detail. Quota and data. The context here is that Supreme Court recently squashed Tamil Nadu Special Reservation Act of 2021. Under this particular act, it had, let's say, distributed 20% quota for most backward classes and denotified communities in education and public employment by assigning 10.5% to 1 year community, 7% to 25 most backward communities and 68 denotified communities, and 2.5 for remaining 22 MBCs. So this has been squashed, especially due to the kind of special treatment that has been given to one community, which is clearly visible. At the same time, the second reason is on the ground that it was not based on updated quantifiable data. So the state government failed to show that it is on the basis of quantifiable data that this particular community is having the severe backwardness. Okay, and that's why the, let's say, reservation has been given. So what did Supreme Court say in this particular case? First thing is that the kind of special treatment to one caste. Okay, so people from other caste, so although they may be having, let's say, backwardness, the similar kind of backwardness, so they are not getting enough reservation here within that 20% quota. Second thing is that, let's say, the data related to representation in employment and education level data, this has not been given, or updated data on this has not been given. Although the Supreme Court accepted caste as a, let's say, criteria for providing reservation. We know that caste is one of the factor of social and economic backwardness. But the Supreme Court has clearly said that caste is one of the factor, one of the criteria, and not sole criteria to provide reservation. From time to time, Supreme Court has used this argument, right? So caste is one of the criteria, but it is not the sole criteria to provide. It requires to show some amount of, let's say, quantifiable data, updated data regarding social and economic backwardness in addition to caste. Okay, so these arguments have been given by the Supreme Court in this particular judgment. Now, while analyzing this judgment, one should know that although caste is one factor But economic backwardness is also another factor. It should be combined. Okay, it should be taken together. But what happens at present is that some communities not getting reservation may feel deprived when the people from the communities which are provided reservation, but they are rich as compared to some of the people belonging to general category. So suppose those rich people are getting reservation, then these people will feel, let's say, yes, alienated or deprived, or let's say they will not feel that the equal opportunity is given to them. Okay, so that's why it is being suggested as a way forward here that whether, let's say, the reservation is given except SC and ST community, all other reservation should have creamy layer criteria. Like for example, for OBC at center. Okay, or other states also they have, if they are implementing, let's say, the reservation within this OBC, okay, or whatever the criteria, reservation in addition to SC, ST community. So within that, the remaining should get, let's say, notified, let's say, tribal communities or denotified communities separately. If the reservation is given, there should be creamy layer criteria so that the deserving people get their representation or reservation, while the rich people or those who have already taken the, let's say, benefits of reservation by the earlier, we can say, generations, so they should be excluded. Right? So this is very important criteria. Also, the Supreme Court in this judgment explicitly has accepted that states have power to divide the reservation within the specific quota. That means, suppose if there are, let's say, OBC reservation. Okay, so we know that OBC reservation 27% is there. Within OBC also there can be division. That 27% can be divided among different let's say caste of OBC. Okay, so those which are included as other backward classes. For example, I am giving you example. Let's say in Maharashtra, suppose. Okay, so in Maharashtra there are, let's say, divisions within the OBC. Like there is VJNT, NT1, NT2, NT3. Okay, notified tribal communities. So there is reservation within this quota to these different communities. Like here they have done similar. So it has accepted, Supreme Court has accepted that states have this power.
So I have one doubt. Sir, if we take as a OBC candidate, limit is the 8 lakh rupee per annum. If you go for SC, ST, is there any economic barriers?
No. At present, there is no such economic criteria used here to provide reservation.
They are getting thousands of crores rupees also, they will get the SC, ST reservation.
Yes. At present, this is, we can say, there is no creamy layer criteria here for SC, ST community.
Because of OBC candidate, if you got any central government employee, their salary more than 12 lakhs, they will not consider as OBC.
There are different criteria according to government rules notification here for the income criteria, as we can say.
Income criteria, if they cost more than 8 lakh rupees, they will not consider as OBC.
Yes.
BC caste also.
See, creamy layer includes different criteria. Income, land, all sources of income, different things are there. Okay, but for SC, ST, there is no economic criteria at present. Okay. Let us not get into the debate regarding that aspect, whether reservation should be there or not. Okay, that is not part of discussion here. simply understand in polity part what are the let's say aspects related to this judgment, this particular judgment. One should also understand that Supreme Court is still let's say having the pending case regarding EWS quota, economic weaker sections, 10% quota given by central government. Okay, yes. Next, drug trafficking via freight containers is a major challenge faced by law enforcement agencies in India. Yes, in past 1 year, about 3,500 kg of drugs, mostly heroin, has been seized from freight containers in the country. This data is useful, you can use this in your answer. Then the latest case which triggered an alarm was reported few days ago when Sri Lanka customs seized more than 300 kg of cocaine from 4 containers destined to Indian port. This particular amount was being smuggled in the garb of scrap metal. Ship had reached the Colombo port from Panama via Belgium and Dubai. कहाँ से आ रहा है, कहाँ ऐड हो रहा है, कुछ पता नहीं है. Okay. Also, the officials here in this particular specific case, they are saying that the cocaine consumption in India is very less. That means this much amount of cocaine is not to be consumed in India or sold in India. Rather, there will be, let's say, it will be transshipped to other countries from India. ऐसे officials बोल रहे हैं.
Especially targets Arab countries.
Yes, different countries will simply say that, not in India. In India, cocaine consumption is very less. Okay. In a similar case, April 2021, Directorate of Revenue Intelligence has seized 300 kg of cocaine from Tuticorin port in Tamil Nadu. Largest ever seizure of about 3,000 kg of heroin was made by DRI from 2 containers at Mundra port in Gujarat last September 2021. It had been shipped from Bandar Abbas port in Iran. This created huge uproar, right? But we don't know what is the investigation, but NIA is investigating this particular. This case is being investigated by NIA. Okay. The situation has necessitated more efficient coordination among the agencies in India, Sri Lanka, Maldives, Iran, UAE for maintaining and sharing on real-time basis data on shipments. Okay, so इससे coordination बढ़ेगा, तो that will be very important, or that will be very good for, let's say, dealing with such kind of drug menace here.
Sir, in our country, cocaine is not used in us. Which material we are going to be heavy consumption in India?
At present, ठीक है, तो this particular, let's say, type of drugs, no, cocaine, heroin, they are largely, consumed in urban areas. Okay, so, but if you talk about, let's say, at mass scale level, opium, marijuana, जिसको बोलते हैं ना.
I observe, sir, in Delhi surrounding also they are taking as that natural leaves, sir. That's a bung.
That is different.
Sir. No, sir. I observed in Jandevalam circle, sir. Mostly the people will be consuming every day, sir.
ठीक है. Yes. So it is less costly, no?
That's
It is. So opium, let's say, this has been the major concern, no? And opium production, we talked about, let's say, golden triangle, golden crescent, we learn in internal security lectures, है ना? So golden triangle, which is golden triangle? Afghanistan, Pakistan, Iran. Golden triangle and golden crescent in northeast India. नॉर्थ ईस्ट पार्ट जो है उसका, हमारा जो साउथ ईस्ट एशियन कंट्रीज जो है वहाँ से. सो जैसे म्यांमार है, थाईलैंड, कंबोडिया एंड लाओस, दैट रीजन. सो दैट इज गोल्डन क्रिसेंट. ओके, यहाँ से प्रोडक्शन होता है, वहाँ पे जो है उसका मार्केटिंग होके पूरे वर्ल्ड में जाता है. ऐसा है वो सीन. Okay, so on both side of India, this has been the major problem, and yes, India not only destination for opium consumption, but also as a trafficking route. Fine. So it is part of internal security. Then CJI flags falling credibility of CBI. good, let's say, observations are there. You can use them in your answer whenever the question is related to credibility of investing agencies like CBI. Okay, so in let's say last many CJIs have, let's say, criticized working of CBI. One of the CJI in past has said that CBI is a caged parrot, है ना? So such kind of criticism is not good for any kind of, let's say, premium national level investigation agencies like CBI. So Chief Justice of India, he was addressing one, let's say, function, and has said that with the passage of time, like every other institution of repute, CBI has also come under deep public scrutiny. Its action and inactions have raised questions regarding its credibility in some of the cases. Okay, there was immediate need for creation of independent umbrella institution. Recommendation by CJI. Okay, though it is informal recommendation, understand this, it is not part of judgment or any order.
One more thing, sir, we can take as another criticism there, sir. Because of normal police are not working as the way of CBI, they are going to be as a normal way. Just like a nexus is going heavy in local civil polices.
See, that is not the case here. First of all, we'll understand what Supreme Court CJI is saying here. We'll understand first. First, we'll understand about CJI. We'll talk about that later. Yes. So as to bring the other central agencies like CBI, Enforcement Directorate, and serious fraud investigation under one roof. Central agencies we are talking. It is essential that all institutions, including police and investigating bodies, uphold and strengthen democratic values. See, the problem here is that there is nexus between politicians and these investigation bodies, and because of that the democratic values are not being upheld. Okay, so ये problem है. Police and probe agencies should not allow any authoritarian tendencies to creep in. They need to function with democratic framework as prescribed under the Constitution. Any deviation will hurt the institutions and will weaken our democracy. The police and investigative agencies may have de facto legitimacy. De facto legitimacy means that they are either, let's say, statutory bodies or created by the government, so that is executively created body, okay, through notification. So that means they have de facto legitimacy. Okay, they are created legally, but yet as institutions they still have to gain social legitimacy. Social legitimacy means that is by people, and people should appreciate them. People should understand that they are working in a transparent and accountable manner. Otherwise, if suppose people say that CBI ab kuch nahi ho sakta, if suppose let's say like we have this kind of attitude towards police, suppose if same is with other agencies, then of course their social legitimacy is questioned. Now let's say some nitty-gritties have been also said by CJI. The organization should be headed by independent and impartial authority, appointed by a committee similar to one which appointed the CBI director. जैसे CBI डायरेक्टर के अपॉइंटमेंट में जो कमिटी होती है जिसमें CVC एंड उनके जो मेंबर्स होते हैं, ठीक है, राइट, सो उनके अपॉइंटमेंट, ठीक है, आप वो एम लक्ष्मीकांत में देख लीजिए कि कौन कौन होता है उस कमिटी में, ठीक है, बट यस इट इज़ काइंड ऑफ इंडिपेंडेंट अपॉइंटमेंट, फाइन. Its heads could be assisted by deputies having specialization in different domains. Now working, this umbrella organization will end multiplicity of proceedings. A single incident these days gets investigated by multiple agencies, often leading to dilution of evidence, contradiction in depositions, prolonged incarcerations of innocents. It will also save institution from being blamed as a tool of harassment. जैसे अभी ED को किया जा रहा है ना, as a tool of harassment. Once an incident is reported, the organization should decide as to which specialized wing should be taken up by as an investigation. Okay. Then CJI said one additional inbuilt safeguard was to have separate and autonomous wings for prosecution and investigation. This is long pending, we can say, legal reform. Public administration में अंसारी सर ये बहुत डिटेल में एक्सप्लेन करते हैं. At present what happens is the prosecution and investigation even in police or any other law enforcement agency is not separated from each other, and because of that what happens is this nexus result into dilution of investigation itself. ठीक है, that's why prosecution does not become strong. ठीक है, to ensure total independence, a reasonable check and balance would be provision in the proposed law for annual audit of the institution's performance by the appointing committee. उसका annual audit होना चाहिए, report होना चाहिए, right? So it should be supported, or this body should be created by law, enacted by parliament. So it will have legal basis. At present CBI is facing problem because it was executively created. Although it let's say has some kind of powers from Delhi Special Police Establishment Act, okay, but it is not the basis for establishment of CBI. CBI is executively created body, not statutory body. Yes. Center introduces Antarctica Bill. Okay, so this bill has been introduced in Lok Sabha, and it has been introduced for checking certain illegal criminal activities that is going on in the name of research activity in Antarctica. Okay, this is a very specific bill, and this Antarctic Treaty 1959, India is member of this, or India has signed this treaty in 1983, and this treaty has one provision regarding, let's say, to specify a set of laws governing portions of continent where it had its research basis. So for example, suppose India is having research base in Antarctica, Bharti. So if suppose any kind of criminal activity, like for example there is firing of let's say a gun there, okay, illegally on any bird or any animal in Antarctic, suppose, that is kind of criminal activity, and there will be penalty here, punishment, if let's say someone is found doing that. Okay, also this act or this bill provides for a kind of, let's say, approval for any kind of research activity is to be done there. There will be approval from the central government. There will be one committee, and accordingly the approval is to be taken. Then also the tourist operators should be registered so as to have any kind of tourist activity to Antarctica here onwards. So we can expect the tourism to Antarctica, and the tourist operators should be registered with the government regarding this. Although the provisions are not that much important, ठीक है, बिल के जो provisions है ऐसा specific उस पे question नहीं आएगा, ठीक है, बिल के ऊपर. But yes, under the provisions of this treaty, this bill is being enacted. Okay, and also India is signatory to treaties such as Convention on Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources and Commission for Conservation of Antarctic Marine Living Resources. Okay, and to enact the provisions of these conventions, this particular bill has been introduced. Okay, yes, India's research stations, whatever the research program that we are having, or it was initiated in 1981 after first expedition to Antarctica, it is all program is under control of National Center for Polar and Ocean Research under Ministry of Earth Science. It not under Ministry of Science and Technology. Okay, Ministry of Earth Science. Then first base was Dakshin Gangotri. Okay, and then it was superseded or replaced by Maitri in 1989. And then at present latest one in 2012 was added Bharti. So at present Bharti and Maitri, two are working, we can say, research centers, research stations in Antarctic. Okay, Dakshin Gangotri was decommissioned.
So present Western countries have the heavy research center in the geographical department as compared to Eastern countries.
So of course, no, Western countries, they are developed countries, no? So they are doing more research. Yes. Record nesting of olive Ridley turtles. So basically there is continuous observation being made by the forest officials as well as we can say the scientists from different let's say organizations. Here a record number of 4.92 lakh olive Ridley turtles have crawled to Rushikulya coast in Odisha, and scientists have tagged more than 6,000 turtles to gather more information about their breeding behavior and migration. Okay, and because of this tagging, it was revealed that olive Ridley turtles can travel up to Sri Lanka. Also, we came to know that migratory turtles is present in entire Bay of Bengal and even on the coast of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu. ठीक है, up till now we used to think that ये सारे सिर्फ ओडिशा कोस्ट पे ही आते हैं, but now we have understood some of them are found in the coast of Andhra Pradesh and Tamil Nadu also. This aribada is a Spanish word meaning arrival by sea, meaning उसका जो है, and refers to mass nesting behavior exhibited by Kemp's Ridley and olive Ridley sea turtles, two types of turtles. Okay, yes, about this olive Ridley turtles and their nesting sites, it will be a revision for you. Gahirmata beach, earlier we talked about that. Now Rushikulya Rookery at the mouth of Rushikulya river. This is at the mouth of Brahmani and Dhamra river. Okay, so this migratory species visiting Indian coast for the nesting, and the mass nesting phenomenon is called as aribadas. Okay, IUCN status is vulnerable, and protection under Wildlife Protection Act Schedule 1, turtle eggs normally take 45 days to hatch. After this, tiny hatchlings come out and make their way to sea. Now, threats: heavy predation of eggs by dogs and wild animals, indiscriminate fishing by the trawlers and gill nets, and beach soil erosion. This is, we can say, major concerns here or major threats to olive Ridley turtles. ठीक है, अब बहुत सालों से मैं द हिंदू एनालिसिस कर रहा हूँ, राइट? सो द हिंदू न्यूज़पेपर का ये फेवरेट न्यूज़ होता है, ठीक है, ऑलिव रिडले टर्टल्स. द हिंदू हैज़ वेरी यूनिक काइंड ऑफ नेटवर्क of the reporters, especially for environment section and art and culture. No other newspaper covers as specific news like this. Art and culture and environment section. And if you are talking from men's perspective, analytical, very good articles, polity and IR, polity, social justice and IR, very good articles. Okay, so just you should be aware about that. So that's why I was telling you कि अब मेरा भी कुछ experience हो गया है ना पढ़ते पढ़ते. So I am telling you that who are the good authors, from which section they are writing all these aspects. Solomon Islands. Okay, IR जो होता है काफ़ी डिटेल में कवर हो जाता है इसमें. So yes, this was in news. Why? Because Solomon Islands they declare let's say decline or said that they will not host military base of China on the island. Solomon Islands are sovereign country. Okay, separate sovereign country is there, consisting of 6 major islands, over 900 smaller islands in Oceania, to the east of Papua Guinea. देखो यहाँ पर देख सकते हैं. This is Australia, and on the northeast of Australia coast there is Papua Guinea, and to the east of that Solomon Islands are there. Okay. And to the northwest of Vanuatu, you can see small islands, group of island, Vanuatu, northeast of that. Okay, northwest of that, sorry. Solomon Islands is a sovereign island nation. It is part of Solomon archipelago. So archipelago जो है ये total group of islands को क्या बोलते हैं? Archipelago बोलते हैं. But this archipelago also consists of island of Bougainville. ये न्यूज़ में रहता है. देखो वहाँ पे जो है रेफरेंडम हुआ था, इंडिपेंडेंस होना है न्यू पपुआ गुनिया से, बट वो डिक्लाइन हो गया, मेजॉरिटी नहीं था. बॉगनविल इज़ अ सेपरेट कंट्री, मे बी सेपरेट कंट्री, ऐसा एक न्यूज़ में था 2 साल पहले, 1 साल या 2 साल पहले. बट इट बिलोंग्स टू पपुआ न्यू गुनिया. यहाँ पे एक छोटा सेपरेट आइलैंड है. दिस बिलोंग्स टू पपुआ गुनिया, बट इट इज़ पार्ट ऑफ सोलोमन आर्चिपेलागो. Okay. Yes. Then capital Honaria, यहाँ पे आप देख सकते हैं, this is the capital, largest island of the group. Fine. ठीक है. It is part of Oceania. Oceania किसको बोलते हैं? जो यहाँ पे साउथ पैसिफिक, साउथ वेस्ट पैसिफिक रीजन में बहुत सारे आइलैंड्स हैं. ओके, दिस ग्रुप ऑफ आइलैंड इज कॉल्ड एज ओशनिया टुगेदर. So many islands, and some of these islands are inhabited by the people. Okay, that together it is called as Oceania, but it is part of Pacific Ocean. Okay. Yes. Okay, so all you Ridley Turtles, correct, we have to find the statement correct here. So they are migratory species visiting Indian coast for nesting. Okay, this is correct. Then mass nesting phenomenon is called as aribadas. Yes, this is correct. Their IUCN conservation status is endangered. This is incorrect. Here it should be vulnerable. So IUCN status पे confuse करता है UPSC कभी कभी statements में. So 1 and 2 only B is the correct answer. Fine. Okay. Any question?
Sir, yesterday CJ has given us, sir. Police department is not working as a department. They need to work as under the standards of CBI. At least they need to reach that. Whether it is a supporting or criticism, sir.
It is criticism, no? Of course, they are not working in a professional manner. Like a CBI or ED or let's say DRI, how NCB. Okay, so they have they are very professional. Okay, their investigation is very strong. Okay, and that's why state, see, police is a part of state machinery. Okay, and not all states are having, let's say, sufficient strengthening of police department. Like for example, if you talk about Maharashtra, a very good police network is there, or a strong police department is there. But the same if you talk about, let's say, police in Delhi, so we know what is the situation. Okay, or some of the other states, right? So of course it requires some kind of autonomy, it requires some kind of independence and training, sufficient finances and right kind of leadership. Right kind of leadership is very important. Okay, leadership in a sense those who are at higher position. ठीक है, जो IPS होते हैं या थोड़ा सा उनके लोअर लेवल पे जो रैंक्स होते हैं, they provide leadership to all department. And if they are good persons, if there is a persons with good character and integrity, of course they will bring certain reforms. Okay, and this has been the case in those states where there is strong state police. Like let's suppose example Telangana, Andhra Pradesh is there. Okay, if especially in city areas, they have very strong police network. If you are talking about Maharashtra, again Mumbai or other, let's say, major cities, you know Mumbai has faced lot of terrorist attacks. Still you can see that they have been prevented a lot largely by the police network. वहाँ पे कोई आर्म फोर्सेस या CRPF नहीं है उसको रोकने के लिए. Rather, yes, leadership is provided and to the department, and you know the kind of let's say motivation that is provided by the leadership. ठीक है, तो वो जूनियर भी जो है मोटिवेटेड होते हैं हमेशा.
Sir, one practical doubt, sir. In my area, sir, in Andhra Pradesh, like that, if you go any head constable, he can able to control more than 30 to 40 people in their area, right, sir? But here the CA rank also is not able to control in Delhi, sir. At least
Yes.
10 to 5 people. What is the behind of that?
See, in Delhi, police subject is basically part of central government. Okay, and the state government is not able to exercise control. Okay, and because of that, what happens is there is, when the parties are different in power, no, there will be problem always. Okay, if suppose same parties are there, so there will be some kind of control over the police establishment. So this is the major concern. If you talk about other states, there will be complete control over police by the state government.
Single authority.
Single authority. At present here in Delhi, the major concern is this one. Also, it is not part of only Delhi, we can say, but rather it is part of NCR. Okay, and we know that in Delhi, the problem is related to the kind of trans-boundary crime that is happening. Okay, it is not part of, let's say, local crime network. Rather, it is a trans-boundary network, and dealing with that is major challenge. Right? Yes, fine. Okay? Yes, we'll talk. We'll stop. Fine.